Hello and welcome to my design breakdown video for my cave exploration level. Let's just jump straight into things here. So as you initially start, you have this fall from this height into this cave area. And one thing I wanted to establish straight off the bat, give players a little bit of sense of things, is that we have glow sticks here. So this place has been explored before. And also that there is a little bit of natural light coming through from certain places, so it's not going to be completely dark and dingy. Now, the first thing we have here is a valve, and that will it limits the player's backwards progression. It's just to kind of keep things moving forwards. And we have these glow sticks here that highlight it. Now, the first thing we come to is this pit filled with water and stalagmites, and this is to establish that there are pathways that are blocked in certain ways, but it will also highlight with just a little bit of UI here that you can use these points to climb across. Obviously, if players decide that they want to fall into this pit, all that will do is straight away it will just respawn them back at the beginning. Fortunately, there's not a huge distance between where they start and where they may fall. Obviously, another thing they can use this space for is to test their jump distance and things like that, which would be helpful later on in the level, just to establish how far they can jump. I just wanted something to highlight the climbing mechanic, and just to highlight that there are spaces in here that you can use to move yourself around. The next thing we have is I wanted to create a really tight space as we move forwards, just to give a sense of claustrophobia, give a sense that there are, obviously caves and stuff aren't built for people to explore necessarily. Not every element of them, at least, or they are more difficult to explore. But also twofold, that also creates space for, once we drop down onto this other valve here, it makes this place look more cavernous and elaborate. So it kind of, the juxtaposition between those two elements, give the player something to go towards. Now, obviously, we have a clear pathway ahead of us. Like, moving forwards here is the correct route. So players' eyes will be immediately drawn to these straight lines heading straight forward. So you should indulge them. But unfortunately, this bridge, very old as it is not capable of carrying the player's weight. Now, what this does, in terms of design intention, is it creates the possibility of changing pathways, that things in this element are affected by your presence. So things dropping away from underneath you will establish that, things aren't all necessarily as they seem. I need to be clever about how I proceed, and also that the current of the water is strong because it pushes you into this corner here. Now, obviously, that's like a medium fail state. It doesn't stop the players completely from progressing. It doesn't make them start all the way from the beginning, but what it does is give them a fail state that they can then move forward, and it makes the play more interesting. Now, I've highlighted this stake here with a rope attached to it. If a player picks it up, they will launch it over this stalagmite here. And that can be perfect for them because it's, I could animate it so the player picks it up and throws it across here, but it showcases what it needs to be. Like, you have a clear path upwards now, so we make it back up. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is the opportunity in that first pit to test the player's jump distance. If they haven't done that, this would be the place to do it. Again, there is, this is quite a large leap of faith, so this might be a bit of a push. But during play testings, everyone seems to have understood it quite well. So, but we can jump straight across here, grabbing onto these climbing points in front of you. Obviously, we can't get all the way up there. We can't go this way. There is a singular path through here, and that will bring us to this point here. Players will pull themselves up. There's a tight gap here that they have to squeeze through, but we have a secondary platform underneath things here. And that's another thing I wanted to do, was I wanted to create a path underneath a pathway. So there is, you know, if the player jumped off the bridge to begin with, they could still make it to this point. They could make it a little bit further across. They might go across the top here, and that's absolutely fine. There are options. The players will then... This fallen bridge here that has these almost ladder points. So we can jump across here. And if players don't make this jump, if players don't... Again, with playtesting, it seemed very clear that people knew what they were doing. If they didn't make this jump, then it's very simple. It just pushes you across here. Oop. And you can use that to climb up this point here and return yourself. Again, a very short fail state there. There's not hindering the player too much. You just push a little distance. Ooh. There we go. We have it. We can just pull ourselves back around here. And again, we're climbing down here rather than up and then going across. This brings players into a larger space. There's a bit more open. There's a bit more danger here. If they fall into this water, it'll do the same thing. It'll push them back around to where we just climbed up. Climb up here. Now, players have established their jump distance with the earlier jump. This one is a little too far for them. We've also established that these stakes can be picked up and used as grappling hooks or to help aid the player to climb up. If players did want to try and trial their jump from here, again, the water will push them to here, and we have climb points to get themselves back up. And we can just use that to pull ourselves back up here. And again, we have a prompt here that this can be picked up in case players need it. So we'll pick that up and we'll throw it. And then, again, could have spent a little bit more time technically adding things like animations and the rope attaching to the player's hand. But you would essentially use it like a rope swing. So jumping across and getting yourself across to this point here. Pulling yourself up. That brings us to the end of the level. Players can progress through to the next area. But I think, yes, there's a lot of this that it establishes the climbing, it establishes that it has alternate routes that you can take, it establishes small fail states, it doesn't frustrate the player. Playtesting results yielded that people enjoyed the spaces. It was quite clear and quite concise as to how to get through. And people seem to enjoy it as well. One of the biggest taking aways from all the player feedback was that everyone seemed to find the level to be quite compelling and fun. So that's kind of the biggest takeaway for me. So if they've found it interesting and fun, then I feel like I've done a good job. But yes, that's all. So thank you for watching.